Hello YouTube family, thanks for tuning in to my videos, for those of you who do, as I try to break down the BS of our socio-political existence here on this globe. If you like the videos, please give it a like. If you've not subscribed, consider subscribing to the channel, as that will help the channel grow. And again, thanks for watching the videos. Hello YouTube family, this video we're talking about the hubbub that's gone on over on Twitter over Hasan Piker buying a house. Hasan Piker is a popular Twitch streamer. He's the nephew of Cenk Uygur, the founder of the Young Turks, which is a progressive left-wing online news organization. TYT has been around for probably going on 2 decades, and they've become popular on YouTube, on social media. They have their website, and Hasan is the nephew of the founder. He got his feet wet in commentating, being on some of the shows on the TYT network. He got a certain degree of popularity there, and last year it seems he moved primarily to Twitch, where he was live streaming on Twitch day in and day out for hours at a time, and he became one of the top 10 Twitch streamers in 2020. According to media reports, he made a little over $1 million last year from his Twitch streaming. Now, Hasan Piker is I guess, perhaps a self-described socialist, perhaps a democratic socialist, but he supports left-wing policies. I myself support left-wing policies. And there was this fervor over the report that Hasan Piker had bought a $2.74 million house in West Hollywood in California. He lives in California. He's lived there for years, I'm assuming at this point. TYT, as far as I know, they broadcast, they do all their stuff in California. Everybody that works for TYT and that operates out of their studio is living in California. And as everybody knows, California is an expensive place to live. It just is. And honestly, I mean, I live in Vegas, and before this, I lived in Utah. Western states tend to be more pricey from what I've seen. You've got expensive areas on the east like New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, DC, Northern Virginia, but the western states tend to be a bit costlier to live in. And Hasan dedicated himself to his Twitch stream. He built up a substantial following and started making a very comfortable income from it. And he had been apparently looking for a house to purchase. The housing market right now is crazy. You've got so many different elements causing house prices to go up. You have a lack of inventory. You have, because of the pandemic and all the shutdowns and the lack of people being able to work, you have supply issues, and that's across the board in our economy. You have people complaining about inflation when the inflation is so heavily driven by a lack of supply demand. The demand's high now. People are starting to operate more normally, so the demand is up, but the supply hasn't caught up yet. Supply chains were interrupted because of the COVID pandemic, and they're still being. I mean, the Delta variant is still rampaging around the world, and in a lot of the world, certainly countries where you have underpaid poor people who are laboring in factories and producing the supply for the world for low wages, the supply chains are still interrupted. But Hasan was successful in his decision to dedicate himself to Twitch. He became a top 10 Twitch streamer. And like I said, they're reporting he made a little over $1 million last year from his Twitch stream. And this year, he bought a $2.74 million house, which, honestly, with his income and where he lives, doesn't seem outrageous to me. But you've got people on social media that were losing their minds because of the socialism thing. This idea that Hasan Piker is a socialist, so I guess he's not allowed to own a house or whatever the deal is. And people on Twitter's minds have been exploding over the fact that he bought this house. You have some people defending him. He's defending himself. Hasan Piker is a well-read, well-educated dude. He can defend himself perfectly fine. And then you have other people, certainly some people on social media, who also have high incomes, who also support more left-leaning progressive policy, who also are flabbergasted at the idea that someone who makes a lot of money can have a nice house. But this is the house, an image of the house that Piker bought, and it's a nice looking house. I believe it was somewhere around 3,600 square feet, 5 bedrooms. It has a pool. It has a hot tub. It looks like a comfortable place to live. And, I mean, let's face it, Hasan Piker is a Twitch streamer. He spends hours and hours every day going on Twitch and streaming for his audience. And he does a good job of laying out issues with domestic policy, foreign policy, issues with our healthcare system sucks, issues with we're doing all these crazy regime change wars, we're going around messing people's lives up, like what's going on in Afghanistan right now. We went over there 20 years and screwed around, messed up people's lives. There are people who are dead. There are people who are in limbo, people who helped us out who are now in danger in their own country if we don't do something to help bring them here. And Hasan will live stream day after day and talk about all these issues, social issues. I believe he's a gamer. Twitch as a platform, it seems like what you primarily have are gamers who will stream on Twitch. And Hasan was one of the political social commentators, philosophy commentators, if that's what you want to call it. Because, let's face it, politics or philosophy. You could have a philosophy towards capitalism, socialism, communism, or some mix of the bunch. And Hasan made a lot of money, bought a house, and that's capitalism. I mean, all these people that are losing their minds over him who are on the right defend the heck out of capitalism, and that's what capitalism is. You make more money, you might buy a better house. The apartment that Hasan Piker was renting in California was probably somewhere in the $2,500 to $3,500 per month range, which is pricey in and of itself. I mean, he was spending a lot of money where he lived just in an apartment. So it's not unreasonable for someone in his position to buy a house. But you had the Twitter world going nutsoid over the purchase. Let's go through some of the tweets. This is one tweet. It's a Taylor Guerin said, "So effed that a socialist bought a house with a pool. I'm inviting myself to Hasan the Hun's new capitalism mansion to debate me about his problematic politics, preferably in his pool." And I don't know what this person's saying are his problematic takes, but that was the first tweet, and honestly that one was humorous. I don't really know if this person was trying to be humorous or trying to hit him as being a socialist who now has a nice house. And here's a tweet from Ethan Klein. He is the male counterpart on the H3 podcast. I don't really watch the H3 podcast. My older daughter does. She's a fan of Ethan and Hila Klein. And Ethan Klein tweeted out, in support of Piker, "Y'all really think Hasan shouldn't be able to own a nice house and also champion for the poor and the underprivileged? There is a difference between making millions on Twitch and paying 50% in taxes, and Jeff Bezos being worth $150 billion and paying no taxes. Happy Hasan is crushing it, and Jeff Bezos is worth well more than $150 billion. And he pays very little effective tax rate, does Jeff Bezos." But that was one of the people tweeting in support. You have a tweet from Hasan. He has taken to Twitter to defend himself, to try and crush some of the nonsense people are saying. But this is a tweet from Hasan. He's at Hasan the Hun. Breitbart, left Twitter weirdos, socialism is when no house. And as far as the whole thing of people losing their mind over the house, people are complaining about the cost. And I mean, what is someone who supports a more socially robust society do? You know, are they required to live in a van down by the river? He bought a house. Everybody's going to have some place to live. And I don't know what the hate is for so much, but this tweet was from Dixie Normus. "Hasan, after buying a $2.74 million house, once I touch a little money, this socialism shit is over." But no, Hasan is still supporting a much more robust social system in this country. Maybe people are hitting him on Twitter trying to get him to move right, I don't know. And this tweet is from Cabo Cola, at Cabo Cola. "People are mad at Hasan for buying a house. The two characters, one is saying, we should improve society somewhat. The other one's saying, yet you participate in society. Curious, I'm very intelligent. And that's the thing. We all live in society. You know, we have the house we live in, we have the car we drive, or the bus we ride. Everyone is living the circumstance they have. Some people are able to achieve better, make more money, have something nicer. Some people don't. That's the way society works. That's certainly the way a capitalist society works. and people are getting mad at Hasan for enjoying part of the capitalism while absolutely saying, if you don't like this, tax me more. He's not anywhere close to as rich as the billionaires you see all over news media, people complaining about taxes, not wanting to pay more in taxes. And I would assume the slightly over $1 million that Hasan Piker made last year in 2020 when he got his Twitch stream going is probably the most money he's ever made in a year in his life. And presumably he'll make more this year because he's already got that base of viewers going, and I assume it's just going to grow and grow and grow, and so his income will go up and up and up. But he's not a billionaire. There are way wealthier people than he is. And yeah, we should tax people who make a lot of money. Hasan Piker should not be paying the same tax rate as someone who makes $400,000 per year if Hasan's making over $1 million per year. It's not fair for the person making $400,000 per year that the rate they pay in taxes is the same rate someone who makes over $1 million per year, whereas Hasan Piker at a little over $1 million per year should be paying less in taxes than someone who makes $50 million in a year, or $100 million, or someone like Jeff Bezos who had his wealth increased by like $30 billion or whatever it was last year. Insane amounts of money. Should be paying more money. But it just is humorous to me that people lose their mind because somebody bought a nicer house. Hasan was living in an apartment, paying rent, and he decided to buy a house. He lives in LA, he works in LA, and he is streaming from his house in LA, I'm sure, now. And it's I would assume, a much more comfortable thing to do, having a house where you've got enough space to live where you live and then set a room aside to do your streams in, as opposed to just sitting in your living room in your apartment to stream. But, so you know who Hasan is, this is a video that shows the kind of content that he does on Twitch.
Anyway, let's watch. Okay, what do Americans think of socialized medicine?
What do you think about socialized healthcare?
I do not like the idea of that.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank God. Brave American right there. Real American. Yeah, if you go to Times Square, you're not going to find an actual New Yorker. You're going to find like every goddamn tourist. They're dumb enough to go to Times Square. Why would you ever listen to their opinion? I'm sorry, dude. If you're stupid enough to go to Times Square, then like, I don't care about your opinion at all. They literally went to a heavily populated area of New York that's mostly populated by, naked cowboys, dudes who are trying to sell you their mixtape, or people who are giving you flyers when you're walking down the street, Applebee's, and ads. Like, you're going to Times Square to see ads, dude. Just put yourself in the mentality of someone who's like, oh yeah, I need to go see the goddamn big ads on the jumbo screen. Like, what the
If everybody has something for free, who's going to pay for it?
Okay, what if people pay for it by taxes? What do you think of that?
Well, that's going to increase. You like to pay taxes?
My favorite thing, and I've talked about this before, my favorite thing is like when people describe normal things that they simply do not understand. So they talk about it like it's with a skeptical lens. Like, how I do that like bit about the DMV? Like, you mean to tell me I got to go to a government agency and take a photo of myself, put my thumbprint down, and then they give me a piece of paper so I can drive my vehicle that I bought with my hard-earned dollars? You fucking kidding me? Like, it's just like a normal part of the process. But like, Republicans can turn that into like something authoritarian if they like talk about it in skeptical terms. And this guy's basically doing that with health insurance, right? Or with healthcare, where he's like, what the fuck? You mean to tell me that like I'm gonna pay into a pool of funds so that I can like take out money eventually when I desperately need that healthcare? That sounds fucking crazy. It's like, congratulations, you just described the concept of insurance.
And so that's a taste of his style of commentary. He uses foul language. He's decently aggressive in attacking people that have particularly bad takes, certainly people that are misinformed, a little bit ignorant on issues, but he has his own style. He's developed his fan base, and he's gotten popular. As I said, he broke into the top 10 Twitch streamers, the top 10 ranks in the Twitch streamers last year, and that's why he made the money that he made. That's why he got is as popular as he is. And the bothersome thing is, there are people on the left that are attacking Hasan over buying the house, saying that it's too expensive, he's buying this extravagant house. And I don't think a 3,600 square foot house is that extravagant, honestly. And yes, there are a lot of homeless people in California, in the area where he lives at. You know, he's not going to be able to help all the homeless. He could give all of the money he made away. That's not going to put people in houses in any significant way in LA. It just wouldn't. The way we do that, and as Hasan, I'm sure, brings up on his streams, we need structural change. You know, he has commented, as he's been clapping back at people on Twitter, he's been commenting that he does donate to charities he supports, because that's how screwed up our system is. We have to donate to charities because we don't have the structure in place for the government to do what it should be doing for everybody, and making sure that people don't fall through the cracks. People don't fall so far behind that they give up. But that's where you have people hitting him. You know, you have some left-wing mentalities that are, and there's a philosopher, I can't think of the name right now, but who had the mentality that, you know, if you buy a new television, then you're contributing to people here and abroad starving because they don't have food. You could have, instead of buying a new television for yourself, a very selfish act, you could have donated that money to a charity that would have helped people who need food, and you could have just kept watching your old TV, that kind of thing. You know, people would argue that he could have kept living in the apartment he was in and donated the $2.74 million to charity, that kind of thing, which I'm assuming he didn't pay cash for the house. I'm assuming with income a little over $1 million last year, he didn't suddenly come up with $2.74 million out of his own bank account. I'm assuming he made enough money last year to put a large enough down payment on the house that he feels comfortable that with his income he can make payments on the house that he purchased. But you have people with this mentality of, if you spend money on yourself this selfish way, then you're ignoring all the people who are in need here around the world. And the thing is, it's this shaming you for living your life, because the thing is, even though we may have ideologies that we need to change systems so that more people can be lifted up to a better point, we still have to live our lives. We still buy the clothes we wear. We still live where we live. I mean, you're going to buy a house if you can afford a house. If you can't, you're going to live in the best apartment you can live in, or townhouse, or whatever. You're going to try and find an area that is lower crime, an area that is maybe convenient for shopping, dining, whatever. If you take public transportation, you'll try and find an area where you have easier access to public transportation. Perhaps you'll try and find an area closer to where you work, whatever. I mean, we make decisions because we have to live our lives. No matter what our philosophy is, we still have to live our own lives. And I'm not going to shame anybody for choosing to spend the money the way they do on things they buy. Their car, their house, their clothes, jewelry, whatever. You make money, you spend it on the life that you live. My critique is the system where we allow wealthy people and corporations to give bribe money to politicians, who then enact legislation that allows corporations and wealthy people to skirt taxes so that we don't bring in as much money as we should. Where people are, it's not just a matter of, I wouldn't criticize Jeff Bezos for having a really nice house. He has a lot of money. My criticism is he should be taxed more. And if he was taxed more, maybe he wouldn't buy, I don't know how much the house that Jeff Bezos lives in cost. I mean, he's super rich. I would assume he lives in at least a $10 to $20 million house. Maybe more. I don't know. But you have that kind of thing where people are shaming those who are trying to live their life. There's nothing wrong with living your life. You're going to make the choices to live your life the way you live it. And you'll make those choices around the taxes that you pay, which that's the structure. The structure that we need to fix in this country is we need to cut loopholes out. We need to increase taxes on corporations, on individuals, or at least make sure they pay them. Individuals, yeah, we need to increase taxes. I mean, it's insane. The tax rate right now is the lowest it's ever been since income taxes were started in this country. Income taxes on the wealthiest Americans are at the lowest it's ever been. And that's why the wealth gap is growing so big. And it's not Hasan Piker's fault. It's not my fault. It's the fault of the system that we have. And what he's arguing against, what I try to argue against, is we need to change the system. And yeah, if they increase taxes to where someone who makes a little over $1 million per year is paying more than the 37%, then Hasan Piker's taxes will go up. But out of that, the amount he keeps will still be a very healthy income, because making over $1 million per year is a lot of money. And plus he lives in California, which also has a high personal income tax. And the thing is, whatever deductions he's able to take and lower his tax rate, maybe in California there's a 13% tax rate, and he's able to cut his state taxes down to 8%. I don't really have an issue with that, because there are costs in life. There are things in life that we need, that should be taken into account with the taxes. But this whole gaming the system thing that we do here, where the wealthy bribe politicians make laws so the wealthy can skirt taxes. That's the insane part, and it's the structure. And Hasan Piker buying a new house is not a part of the structural problem. But people's heads were exploding because he bought a new house. It's absurd, and some of them may just be haters that are jealous. I mean, I'm sure I would like to live in a $2.7 million house, but you live in what you can afford. He's done well over the past year, and he's going to continue doing well, I assume, because he's created a solid fan base. And good for him. He's doing well. He bought a new house. I hope he enjoys it. And I'm sure he has enough confidence that he's not going to let the haters bother him. But I'm sure it bothers to some degree, because some of them are on the left. They're in the same place we are, arguing for the same structural changes, meanwhile shaming their fellow lefties for no reason, because somebody bought a house. It's insane. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. By all means, have a good day.